Have you ever had something happen that immediately sent your mind into a spiral? That was me this week. I haven't had a seizure in years, and I mean years. And at a certain point, you start believing that that chapter of your life is behind you. You stop thinking about it every single day. You stop wondering if it's going to happen again, and you begin to live normally. And then Monday happened. And, in a matter of moments, everything changed. Suddenly, I wasn't thinking about work. I wasn't thinking about content. I wasn't thinking about future plans. I was thinking about one question: God, I know you can heal me, so why didn't you? And a lot of people in my family ask this question too, and now maybe your situation may not look like mine. Maybe yours is a diagnosis, a financial setback, a broken relationship, a job loss, anxiety, depression, a prayer that you've prayed so many times and that still seems to be unanswered. But if you're anything like me, you know exactly what happens next. The overthinking begins. You start replaying everything. Did I do something wrong? Did I miss something? Did I not have enough faith? Did I pray incorrectly? Is God trying to tell me something different? Does he even hear me? And before long, the original problem isn't even the biggest battle anymore. Now you're fighting your own thoughts. And I think that's where many Christians live, not in unbelief, but in confusion, because we know that God can. We just don't understand why he doesn't on our timeline. And that's the tension, the gap between God's power and our experience and our timeline. Because scripture is very clear: God heals, God restores, God delivers, and God performs miracles even today. I've seen him do it. So what do we do when he doesn't? I think one of the biggest mistakes that we make is treating healing like a transaction. We start believing, if I have enough faith, God must heal me. If I pray hard enough, God must answer. If I do everything correctly, God must fix this. But that's not a relationship, that's a formula. And Christianity was never built on formulas, it was built on trust. One of my favorite stories in the Bible is Daniel chapter 3. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego are standing before a king who is threatening to throw them into a furnace. Listen to what they said. They said, "Our God, whom we serve, is able to deliver us from the furnace of blazing fire. But even if he does not, let it be known to you, O king, that we are not going to serve your gods." So think about that. They knew that God could save them, but their faith wasn't dependent on whether he did or not. That's mature faith. That's faith that says, God can heal me, but even if he doesn't, he's still God. God can open the door, but even if he doesn't, he's still faithful. God can change the situation, but even if he doesn't, we are still called to trust him. And honestly, that's not easy, because I wanted answers on Monday when I was in the ER. I wanted understanding. I wanted certainty that this wasn't going to happen again, not just for me, but for my family. And instead, I was reminded of something else, my own weakness. And maybe that's exactly where God wanted my attention. Because 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 9 says, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is perfected in weakness." Not strength, weakness. Not confidence, weakness. So Monday, when I had my seizure, it didn't change God's power. It revealed mine, or more accurately, my lack of it. And maybe that's why grace exists, because there will be moments in our lives where faith doesn't feel strong, when our emotions don't cooperate, when circumstances don't improve, or answers don't come. And in those moments, God doesn't ask us to be superheroes. He just asks us to trust him. And one thing that I've learned as an overthinker is that the question why rarely satisfies us, because every answer creates another question. We will ask, why did this happen? And then it will go to why now? And then why me? Why not someone else? Why didn't God intervene? And this cycle it never ends. But lately, I've been trying something different. Instead of asking why, I'm asking who. Who is God? Is he still faithful? Yes. Is he still good? Yes. Is he still loving? Yes. Is he still present in my life? Yes. Is he still sovereign? Yes. None of those truths changed on Monday, and none of them change during your Monday experience either. So, if you're walking through something difficult right now, give yourself some grace. Reset when you need rest. Recover when you need recovery. And remember that God's presence is not measured by your circumstances. Sometimes faith isn't believing God will remove the fire. Sometimes faith is believing he's with you in it. And if that's where you are today, you're not alone. Because that's exactly what we talk about here at the Overthinking Christian channel. Not perfect faith, not easy answers, just honest conversations about following God through real life. And maybe that's enough for today. Have a good rest of your week, guys, and God bless.